Welcome to The Brief. On this session of Block Chat, we've added some subjects and we've added some news so that we can keep you up to date on what really is happening, what's fun, what's engaging, and what matters. As you know, this is a no-hype episode and this is a no-hype show. We only discuss things in a scientific manner and we try to only discuss what matters. It's Denis, Petrovcic, and Makram, Hani with you today. Hi, Denis.
Hi, Makram.
Hello. You know, as we said last time, very good. As we said last time, we'll start with the AMA rather than leaving it till the end. Today, we decided to put some news ahead of the AMA because we believe that there's things that are happening that do matter, and there are things that are happening that may be fun only and probably do not matter much. Yet, people and our community would like that we talk about it, and we'd like to define what does matter, what doesn't. Let's start with what does matter. So let's build a Europe where Web3 can flourish. Crypto companies sign an open letter to EU regulators. This is a piece of news that came last week. Why do you feel it does matter, if it does? And are we prepared for it?
It was a piece of news that there's this MiCA regulation that is being kind of talked about for, I think, more than a year now, maybe even 2 years, that aims to regulate crypto assets. And the latest version is kind of requiring or wanting to put self-custody wallets into a position where they need to KYC users, which is obviously something that raised a lot of noise in the crypto community. And I think this is kind of an initiative to put things into perspective for the regulators to say, hey, there are certain things that we can do and certain things that we just cannot achieve and should not achieve. And I think this is like an open letter to raise those issues.
Perfect. Second piece of news, Dubai to hold first NFT pay-per-view sports event. That's cool, huh? Featuring a fight between Floyd, Money Mayweather, and Don Moore, Global Titans fight series. That's cool, huh?
Are you a fan of boxing?
I am a fan of boxing. I get too many of them. I never give. Look, NFTs is a hot subject. Do you think that this is a start of something that does matter? Sports event, pay-per-view, what do you think about it?
Well, if I understood correctly, it's like using NFTs as in a way, tickets to an event.
It is a collectible NFTs, yeah? Because Titans Fight Series or Global Titans Fight Series will be a collectible.
Yeah. I think it's a great way of engaging a community. I'm not sure how exactly it works in the back, but I guess we'll see NFTs going into different directions out of just being collectibles into being more kind of utility collectibles. I think that's the aim with this the news that you were pointing out.
Another cool piece of this news. Well done, Dubai, first, as usual. However, another good piece or cool news, piece about that news that doesn't relate to an NFT is that boxing match will be held on the Burj Al Arab helipad. You know, Burj Al Arab is one of the most luxurious hotels in the world, and it has a helipad, and this is gonna be held there. That's cool, huh? Last piece of news for our week. So today we have 3 pieces of news. Jack Dorsey claims if you're building on Ethereum, you have at least one, if not many, single points of failure. Do we?
Well, I don't know his thesis for making that claim, but if I understood correctly, it was coming from a tweet where I think Elon Musk
it's a reaction,
I think he was saying about buying Twitter, and then there was Vitalik pointing out about the dangers of wealthy individuals owning social networks that are widely used. And kind of Jack Dorsey, I think, replied something to this in terms of agreeing with it. And then there was, I think, a startup that kind of was growth hacking their way into the conversation. I think building up like a decentralized version of Twitter, and then there was this reply of Dorsey to them. I think that's how it went.
So do celebrities and
what he was really referring to, right?
Yeah, do celebrities and famous people always say something that's scientific and does really matter? Not really. Okay, it's cool, it's hot. They're human beings. They can be heated or enter a heated debate about anything, and they can be attached to an agenda they do have, or an agreement they do have, or a corporate politic running here and there, and they can say something. This may be off it or not, yeah? I believe Jack Dorsey should be enough into tech to mean what he say, but it's not always the case. So for everyone listening to this, he doesn't need to change the tech he's building on immediately overnight just because Jack said so. So let's go to our main subject today. I would like to change or start from the change of roadmap when it comes to Oceanpoint. Tell us more about it. We've received so many questions about why, and then we'll deep dive into it. Today, our session is a deep dive into what everyone wants to know about of our product, of our technology, and of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, we made a good couple of shows where we were or sessions where we're kind of going from the broader tokenization scope and kind of narrowing it down a bit. And with the guest sessions that we're having now, we're achieving this broad view of, crypto, DeFi, as well as tokenization, maybe in connection as well with real estate assets, but not necessarily. And Makram and I kind of, we discussed diving more deeper in these live streaming sessions into what we're actually building, right? Now, I made like a statement that there's an announcement that we're making, and internally the team is aware of this decision for some time, and now it's the moment where we can actually officially make the statement. So for those who looked into within our Discord, they can see the roadmap, the product roadmap, and how it kind of subsequently builds up Oceanpoint. So from the governance pool and the BST staking, which is being live since end of February. The next phase, version 02, that is or that was planned, is liquidity mining for BST, basically awarding providers of liquidity with BST. And then the third step is only when we would be introducing real estate. Now, we made a change. And here we kind of put a pre-phase before the 02. Or let's say that we changed 02 into bringing real estate to the protocol. And we did that change because we saw that we're able to onboard real estate assets much quicker than we thought. We believe that focusing on liquidity right now might not be the best strategic move. And instead, the team was able to shift in their planning of software development, which is, I must congratulate everybody building this on being versatile and able to follow the strategic kind of decision of bringing tokenized real estate for staking to Oceanpoint with version 02. And I think this is like a major shift that's going to really prove that what we're doing is about real estate and not, DeFi is the route to it, but the core of what we're doing is we're migrating value of real estate assets on chain. And if we can prove that staking can be the driver of that kind of shift of mindset for people owning real estate, I think we've done a great job. And by the amount of real estate that we've been able to onboard in the last couple of weeks, I think the message is clear. People are looking for alternative ways of earning with the assets investments that they already have, and the real estate sector is no different.
I believe that we've reached $12 million of assets already. Yeah, 12.8, 12.9, and ticking.
Yeah.
That's cool. So the whole idea of we started tokenizing real estate and we are locking value into Oceanpoint, which is came at a time prior to when it was planned in the roadmap, I believe is because we found an opportunity to have a use case and a testing ground, and it worked. And then we built on that. And today we are, it's a proof that there is $12 million, billion dollars. That's cool, huh? $12 million of tokenized real estate, which is serious, yeah? What will we be doing with this tokenized real estate today? If I tokenize real estate today and I've put my property into Oceanpoint, what would I be doing, or what would you be doing with my property, with my returns? How can I earn more? How is it beneficial? Why is it beneficial? And are we analyzing this property? Is it still property? What is the product that's out there?
Yeah. So, I think we mentioned this in our previous session, live session, that we wanted to provide, or driving this in a direction where liquidity is not necessarily the value proposition that real estate owners are seeking, but instead creating an additional revenue stream. And what we're doing is you can tokenize your property, and with version 0.2 already, you'll be able to use the asset tokens for staking. So let's say you own a property that is worth 100K. By default, we will tokenize 10% of that value and mint the tokens to your wallet. So you are retaining all the rights, all the legal economic rights. You're not giving them away. You're not selling them to anybody, not to Oceanpoint, not to the regular Joe, but you are retaining those rights. You're just digitizing them in token form. And then you can use that token to lock it in to Oceanpoint and earn BST. And to not make that BST flood the market, the rewards plus, so the commitment for the asset owners is 6 months of staking. And then you can withdraw those tokens back. You regain your, you never gave up your economic rights, but you're just unlocking them, and you can retrieve the rewards that were kind of appropriated to you based on the value that you've staked within the pool. So I imagine, in the next couple of months, this becoming very interesting for any homeowners or property owners engaging with it, and a door to kind of open up yourself to learn more about what we're doing, and kind of getting into it.
So let's put a few things into perspective here. First, we have Alexis, John Dean Markunas. Thank you guys for engaging. It's great to have you here. Twitter also, we have several questions that we'll tackle in minutes, guys. We'll not leave you till the end, and hopefully we'll be able to tackle them right. But let's put things into perspective here, Denis. So first, whatever we're tokenizing today and the value that we're locking is still real estate. So we need to go back to the original product, and we need to analyze that original product and see the quality and the value of this original product. Because yes, if you are an owner of a property today and you come and tokenize it and lock in value, we're tokenizing 10% of it and locking in value into that asset pool, you are not currently, at the time being, sacrificing the income that you would be generating in reverse, you're getting more benefit by harvesting the tokens that you're able to harvest today. And as Denis said last time, and I repeat this time, you are able in an easier way today to collect those tokens because you're one of the starters. And he gave an example, which is Bitcoin. A few years ago, when you used to try and mine Bitcoin, it was pretty easy. You used your usual PC, and it didn't affect your electricity bill, and you were able to mine Bitcoin. Currently, to mine Bitcoin, you need those machines, and only few miners in the world can mine fractions of a Bitcoin per hour, probably. So that's the reality of it. So today you are a pioneer if you're starting, and you're getting the reward of that. However, soon this value needs to be justified, verified, and goes to the market. So in a way or other, it should be proper value, real value. The assets should be the right assets. What will we be doing soon is analyzing those assets for you. So we'll be diving into each property that has been tokenized. We'll be looking at a property as investors. I'm a property investor since years. I've been, prior to being an investor, worked for developers, been a trader and a broker, as well as we are passionate about making sure that value is delivered to everyone. So we need to look at the underlying product, the underlying asset, and the underlying asset here is property. So we will be analyzing those properties, and you will see soon sessions of property analysis for every tokenized property. By the way, Denis, today everyone can join or can go in to Oceanpoint, can have their own account, can be verified, and can see the properties that have been tokenized, or some of them. And yes, you will have a coming soon logo now, because what's happening is that we're still in process of finalizing the process or the transactions. However, those are there. You're welcome to go see them and to go check them out. And we will be building on that. So the target is that we grow this more dynamic. So we grow this environment more dynamic. The more assets there is, the more transactions there could be, the more dynamism is there in the whole ecosystem. The more dynamism there is, the more liquid it is. So what we're doing, correct me here if I'm wrong, Denis, what we're doing is tackling, rather than tackling liquidity first, is tackling creating that environment, and then liquidity will be a byproduct of the success we do by building that environment. Am I right?
Yes.
So
indeed.
So what we're doing is taking that asset class, we're creating a digital representation of it, we're tokenizing it. That asset class is more obtainable and attainable for you. We're giving you a clear understanding of it by analyzing it as an asset itself, and so that it's understandable to everyone. You don't need to be a crypto guru to be able to understand it. You don't need to have all of this knowledge about tokens and Ethereum. You don't need to. You just need to go into that. It's as if you're going into your bank account today, or into any platform, into Amazon actually, and buying some product there. You get verified, you go through the KYC, everything is very user-friendly. Please try it and give us your feedback on it, because it will help us improve. So that's the underlying asset. Now, what's on top of the underlying asset is that layer of tokenization, and then it's locked into DeFi. For 6 months, you're getting the tokens. What will happen after the 6 months, Denis?
So after the 6 months, the token holder will be able to withdraw the tokens to their wallet. So the asset owner, they can withdraw the asset tokens and plus the BST rewards that they earned throughout that period of time. And after that, they can decide whether they want to keep the asset tokenized, or maybe they want to sell the asset to Oceanpoint, like, I don't know, a fraction of it. And at that moment, what we'll be doing throughout those 6 months, we're going to create like a risk assessment for each and every asset. And in this way, we're going to kind of be able to create a initial portfolio of properties that Oceanpoint will be purchasing So right now with 0.2, Oceanpoint doesn't own those tokenized assets. They're just being there prepared as it's like a waiting room, right? Um, and just piling up value of real estate being tokenized. I think that becomes more and more attractive to anyone that wants to then engage in providing liquidity for this. And that's why we made the decision of rushing with enabling tokenized real estate to have an attachment with Oceanpoint, and kind of postponed the liquidity mining campaign for a bit. And it was a decision that we made soon after we actually launched Oceanpoint end of February, because it was already something that we learned that might be worth trying, but we were not sure how many assets we'll be able to really kind of commit for this program.
And it was positively surprising, yeah?
Yeah, it's surprising how well it's being accepted by people. And when we have the asset onboarding calls with Julia,
hi Julia.
She's really doing a lot in terms of talking with people about it within Western Australia, and she's getting replies like, why wouldn't you do it? Like it's a no risk value proposition at this moment, and I can make some money on top of what I'm making anyway. I'm not losing any money, or I'm not sacrificing anything right now, and it's people are getting excited about it. And it's just like I said, it's similar to mining Bitcoin in 2009. You wouldn't pay any extra on the electricity, or you wouldn't need to buy additional equipment to mine it. And today, you probably did a good decision doing it and engaging with it. And when you have, already now we're having talks with larger owners of assets, and they're interested, but they're still looking like slowly at it. Now, when you get a 50 million asset being tokenized and 10% of that value being staked, it's going to take up a lot of that pool. So,
it wouldn't be as easy for someone who has an asset today with $500,000 to tokenize 10% and dominate the pool. So today, or get a big piece of the pool, because I believe already whenever we cross the $10 million mark, it's difficult today to dominate the pool unless huge assets start coming in, which are in, I wouldn't say in the pipeline yet, but I would say in the making today. So that's cool. That's good. So what will happen eventually is that you will be able as a user to utilize Oceanpoint as your liquidity, as your bank. You go to there and you swap those assets, and you take that liquidity and you utilize it, be it for 10%, 15%, 30%. So in essence, you can tokenize a property, and run with me through this scenario, Denis, please. If I have a scenario, I own a property, I'm 60 years old, and I have a property that's worth today $1 million. I tokenize 100% of this property. I don't have a mortgage anymore on it. I paid it off. And whenever I need liquidity, I come and liquefy 10% of it, or 5% of it, or 2% of it. And then, with time, I need more liquidity. I go and do this again. Is this a scenario you see people utilizing? So they've tokenized their property, yet they own the tokens.
Yeah.
Or do you see this more so when it's really possible to tokenize the property itself rather than tokenizing economic rights behind it?
No, I think it kind of both. I think we still don't know exactly how people and why people will tokenize real estate. But I think even just tokenizing a property's economic rights, if you have a potential liquidity engine like Oceanpoint at hand, I think it's already valuable because it gives you that freedom. What if, it's like getting a loan but never really taking the money from the bank, but just getting it approved, right? So you know that you could for the next 2 years withdraw 50K if you wanted to, but you don't. So you're not paying nothing for it, but you just have that right to do it because of your credit score. And I think there was a question about credit scores and if we'll be taking a look in the back about doing the whole due diligence on real estate assets.
Asset owners.
And I think maybe yes. And I think that's something that we've talked on the asset onboarding calls that we're having on a weekly basis, is how hard it is to do it outside of a jurisdiction where you're not present. So I think here we
marketplaces and partners will play a major role,
yeah, they will. But right now, like what we can actually do is if we have foot on the ground of somebody who's familiar with that jurisdiction, then they have the understanding that there's Blocksquare here that provides something. That's an opportunity that where you can basically for basically not much input, you can start providing a service in your country because you have that knowledge of how that country and legal system functions, and where
so
to
why
check
don't we
the information.
Why don't we invite potential partners all over the world here to apply and try and join us? Because it is an opportunity, and today you don't have so much competition probably, but in 5 or 10 years you will have much more competition. I've seen before, after this subject, I want to go to some of the questions, but I've seen a few days ago the news we talked about, which is RICS looking at digitizing and the technology itself. And that's great, guys. You're looking at academic organizations, you're looking at bodies and organizations that are very respected in the real estate field and really care about the values so much, looking at technology, and that's amazing. I want to go here to some of the questions. Afterwards, probably we can discuss what was discussed on the last asset onboarding call, which I believe it was fascinating, and it's simple and it simplifies things for people. If we have time, we'll talk about that. Wait for us, guys. Don't leave here. Alex is saying, I'm not convinced with NFTs use for collectibles. They really do have a place for events or maybe real estate, with a question mark. So do you really believe they do have a place in, let's answer, NFTs in real estate? Because probably in events they do have, and they do have a major one. Do you see that they do have a real role in real estate? And why would anyone use a non-fungible token rather than a fungible token?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think I had I was on a call with somebody this week, about talking about NFTs and as well as fungible tokens. So talking about the difference, applicability to real estate. I think NFTs with real estate are a great fit, maybe for property ownership of homes, let's say. So where you want to own or you want to have a digital representation of title, and that's perfectly fine. But I think this is not a bottoms-up approach, but rather a top-down. So government needs to create a tender to actually create that kind of infrastructure, and it's not something that the startup world can really take over. I think. Well, the tokenization of economic rights, for instance, is something that's much more, or I would say, easily achievable, and it's can work from the bottom up.
And so, NFTs are a form of tokenization. Yeah, it acts a slightly different as a token, yet it can act also similar in certain ways. And would you have an NFT or a fungible token? I believe today, it's the last of the debate that should be done. Today, both kinds of tokenization do add value because it allows us to transact and own and record ownership of real estate in a simpler way. And I would refer here to a paper that I've just finished, and the feedback I'm getting on that paper is that it's perfect, it's amazing to read because it's very easy to read. And I've talked about the evolution of elements around real estate. And the elements start by records and habitual behavior, our habitual behavioral DNA, and as well as the transactional and how do we transact today? How do we look at ways of ownership? And a discussion started a few days ago with a friend who posted an analysis of the report of the World Economic Forum, the last report that talked about 2030, no ownership anymore of anything. Everything will become a service. Every product will become a SaaS model. And my debate was probably the analysis has the right has the right route, but not the right school of thought. And that's why they're ending up in a wrong place. Who is ending up in the wrong place? Probably not the World Economic Forum, whoever is analyzing the articles. So there is another question here. It's 2030. How much TVL, Oceanpoint have locked up? What's the price of BST? Ooh, that's a question.
All right. No hype, right?
No hype. Let me say something here to kill the hype. So Pekka Kelka, Papa Blockchain, who will be with us on a session in the coming few days, said that, by mistake actually he said it, he was talking Bitcoin, I believe, is it him or you? And then said BST $50,000 or $500,000 or $1 million. So no hype to that. Go ahead, Dennis, please.
No hype to that. What I can talk is about tangible goals. So I like to do stuff that I can have an impact on and just focus on that and not dream about things I cannot do with my hands, so to speak. And I know what we can do. I know what we've done in the past couple of weeks, and I know we can continue doing it. And I know that there's immense interest in what we can do with the tech we've built so far, which is tokenized real estate. And if the value proposition is earning some BST on the side, that's perfectly fine. And it's actually even more interesting for people from the real estate sector, because it gives them a stake in a decentralized financial system for real estate. So why not do a low risk bet on this? And I know that we can keep on doing what we've been doing so far, which is tokenizing real estate. And my goal is by the end of the year, before the end of the year, to reach 50 million worth of real estate being tokenized, and which means tripling basically what we've done so far
by 2030,
and then 2023 or 2030.
2030.
Oh, 2030.
Look, guys, I believe Dennis does not want to mention the numbers we have in our heads now, just to avoid a claim of hype. So
no, I don't want to do it. I don't know. I don't care about 2030. I care about 2023. And in 2023, I want to have really strong partnerships with other companies in Web3, with communities that are led by other tokens. I want to provide value to them through Oceanpoint. And I want to lock in BST in the process. So to provide value for BST as well. And one of the topics we announced here, and I'm just gonna slide
out of the question. Let me answer something here. The question came from how to crypto, and I will tell you something. In 2030, what we will have is, if we continue doing what we're doing successfully, not only us, everyone in this intersection of two industries, because really what we are doing here is an intersection of two industries. if everyone's continued doing it right, and it doesn't depend on us or any of the people doing it right for one reason. Evolution is like water, guys. You cannot contain it. And it will develop and we will get there. It does not matter who puts an effort. So that's not to undermine our efforts or anyone's effort. That's just to tell you that we're getting there. So could it be 2030, 2040, or 2025? Because I see it much sooner than 2030. We will have a material part of our real estate world impacted by technology, and in a sustainable way, and in a way that daily you utilize and your father utilizes and I do utilize. And this means that there will be, if we want to call it two sources, the new source, the future, will be gaining market share from the old source. So if today we have $300 trillion, $600 trillion of real estate in the world, that does not really matter much. And if tokenization have impacted 0.01% of that today, and in a way where or another, it's only as a proof of concept to date. This is what we have in front of us. In few years, we'll have that utilizable on a daily basis. And what we are currently drawing is what you will be using and we will all be using on a daily basis. So that's 2030. And now please go ahead and slide, Dennis, into, I believe we need to slide also into the subject you want to talk about and some of the Twitter questions as well, yeah?
Yeah, indeed. So one of the topics we wanted to talk about today is we were thinking how we can expand our community into other communities and doing it in a sustainable and smart way. Not just, employing marketing tactics, which are dubious, but instead providing value to the ecosystem. And one of the theses of Oceanpoint in the presentation deck, one of the first slides is, the ecosystem doesn't have any exposure to real estate assets, to the real estate economy, to anything related to it. Now you have these challengers of decentralized systems, this DeFi, lending systems, DeFi, protocols of different types of value propositions being built that are so dependent on what the Bitcoin miners are doing. Like, when the Bitcoin markets go down, everything goes down. So everybody becomes skeptic of what these projects are doing. And even though it doesn't have anything to do with Bitcoin. So I know it happened to us after 2018. Nobody wanted to talk with us because Bitcoin lost value.
Shine.
So what we can do with Oceanpoint is, let's go to 2023, and we've done our job right, and we have 150 million worth of real estate assets that have been tokenized. And about 10% on average of all those assets has been locked in to Oceanpoint and is generating revenues on a regular basis to Oceanpoint. And Makram, it's about let's say 5% returns on the value in terms of cash flow. Now that cash flow on the 15 million worth of kind of tokens is going into Oceanpoint and creating buy pressure in BST, distributing BST to various participants, liquidity providers, and so forth. But what if we can say as a community, what if we put a fraction of it, a portion, let's say 20% of those revenues, into a burn pool, a pool where any token community or holders of tokens of different communities can kind of register and be able to lock in their tokens and kind of signal how much of that pie they want to have. And let's say that this needs to be combined with BST. So let's say the Graph community They can bring GRT to that pool, buy some BST to boost it, and they gain a share of that 20%. And that percentage of revenues then goes to buy GRT on the market and burn it. Now, would that be a valuable value proposition to DeFi communities? And we're getting very positive feedback with these initial conversations we're having. Obviously, it's hard to get to the right person that's in charge of partnerships. So, if anybody within the community has been active in other communities, I think this kind of partnership is really a good value proposition that we can bring. And this is one of the top priorities. So there was a question, I think, what are the 777 for us? Coming 7 days, I want to do a partnership. Each 7 days, I want to do a partnership. I also want to have every 7 days us listing another 2 assets on average. And these are the kind of week-to-week goals that I want to achieve.
And guys, that Denis is captivated in the today rather than the future. And that's something that's amazing, because many of us and most of us are guilty of being so captivated into the future, while the actions of today are what leads us to that future. So hats off for that approach and that mindset, because it's very difficult when all the fun and hype around you is about the future to continue being dedicated to the sometimes boring, frustrating, hectic today. So that's a point to look at. I believe we need to answer some of the Twitter questions as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a question while looking
Sorry,
through Twitter.
Before you answer that, just one very fast question. So is it fair to say anyone in our community, guys, anyone who holds BST or probably doesn't, but would want to, who is related to any other community, any other DeFi community, is welcome today to start that connection? And you can start it on Discord even, and or get in touch with us, guys. Okay, we're all welcoming anyone and any approach, and that can generate value to the other community you are part of, as well as to our community. So it's a value exchange. Every asset, every digital asset in the world would gain value and authority and more meaning today when it's connected in a way or another to a real life asset. We are your connection to your real life asset. So feel free to connect to us. How can they best reach us, Denis? What's the best way to do so?
I think we have a very active Telegram. So even if they don't know who to speak with directly or how to get in touch, if they just reach out to us through Telegram, I think this is like there's somebody from the community that point them into the right to the right person. Discord is still kind of a bit quiet, not being used that much because we are not used to using it that much. Internally as a team, we communicate through Slack, which is something that we started using since the start, and just going with internal communication to Discord, I don't see it coming soon because we have a lot of things automated and connected within Slack.
So that's talk to Denis about automation here.
but there's a lot of so it's easy to reach us, right?
Is there an email, or would they tweet? And would they
email is future@blocksquare.io. So that's an email that can be used, or Denis@blocksquare.io. You reach me directly.
Can they get in touch with us if they tag us on Twitter or LinkedIn?
Yeah, you can tag us on Twitter, sure, or shoot us a DM. We're really into it.
So that's the best way to reach us, guys. By the way, our session didn't finish here. We just have too many questions on Twitter that we want to answer. I want to thank also Jelson, who said that great, amazing chat. Thank you, sir. Okay, so let's go to Twitter, Denis. What should we answer? What questions did you see interesting to start with?
Yeah, I think there was in relation to what we were saying before. It's what's the size of the team? It's a basic question, but I think the people behind it are the most important in the end. And there's also comes with a certain announcement regarding Makram's role, which we agreed last week. And it was a great conversation we had. We come to know each other throughout him being kind of the representative of Blocksquare within the GCC region. And he said, look, I really want to step up here. I want to, do more. And he's already doing that. And so we have our own brand new chief operating officer right in front of us here. And I'm really proud to have such experienced businessman as Makram, taking a bigger role within Blocksquare and Oceanpoint. So thank you, Makram.
Thank you, Denis. It's a pleasure, man. And I'm learning every day, and it's an amazing experience. I hate his automations. Everything is automated for him. I'm jealous about it, definitely, but thank you. It's a great thing, and that journey has been amazing and inspiring for me. And I hope that we can add value together to the whole team, to the whole community, and everyone around us. And we're definitely, guys, on this question about the team, we're definitely looking at the quality of what every single person and every single partner can add to us. The future is not enclosed. The future is open. In the past 50, 60 years ago, or even 20 or 10 years ago, the idea and the thought was that if you have an idea, a good idea, keep it to yourself. If you're a manager, don't teach, because if you teach people everything, they will step on you and over you. That's gone dead since a very long time. Today, it's all about cumulative knowledge. Today, it's all about giving out what you know and building on what others can build on it, because that's what we're up today. And that's why I say communities of today and the youngsters of today are much better than us as youngsters and the youngsters of yesterday. I've just seen the gentleman who's founded FTX. Yeah, he is a young gentleman who's saying, you know what, I live this conservative life. I have fun doing what I'm doing, and I want to give this away. And remember, this gentleman has not been in wealth for hundreds of years or tens of years, does not have a family inheritance. He's done it all in a very short period of time. So God bless people who do want to exchange and want to be open. And our team is open. We have members of our team in different parts of the world. There are some of us who have never met in person, yet know each other much more than people we've met in person, probably, and connect on the right basis, which is a common goal, a common vision, and the solid belief that we want to change and impact a part of the industry that we all love, real estate. Let's go to another question.
And here I would just add this thing is, we're building a community. So anybody who wants to be more active within the community, whether that's, taking a more active role on Discord, just, to bring it more to life. If that's something that you feel you can excel in, just reach out to us. Let's do this, right?
Eventually, we want to be a DAO. Eventually, no one should be in charge. Everyone is in charge of his own thing. And that's something Denis continues telling me I didn't understand yet well enough, guys. But every few days, Denis says that again. We are gonna be a DAO. There's no one person responsible for everything and anything. If you don't mind, let's go to another, a few questions. Where would you like to start?
Just pick one.
Okay, so here, looking forward to the AMA. Thank you, sir. And here, when trying to solve four barriers or the barriers of entry to small investors and increasing liquidity to real estate managers, what problems does Blocksquare solve which are not already being done by REITs, etc.?
Okay, Do you want to take this
answer? I would love to take this question on. Look, guys,
take it.
When REITs acquire property, they're regularly masses of too much economic power, and they do not have some of the advantages when they come and acquire. They do have others. One of them is so much money coming in to pick the right asset that probably generates enough money. One. Two, you don't have control over what you own in a REIT. A REIT will have diverse assets. Some of them would have been purchased at a low, some of them are being purchased at a high. You come in, it's a trust, call it a fund, and you come into that pot of assets. Three, you do not have usually the ability to enter and exit certain markets, because generally most REITs are not strictly positioned for single markets. They're positioned for multiple markets. So those are situations or statuses that you would be in with REITs. When you are talking tokenization, you can pick the right property that you want today, exactly how you own your property today. You can buy as much as you want of it. The layers of costs are simply not there. In a REIT, there is that kind of risk management side that costs a REIT so much. And yes, they're professional people who sit on tables and do research and do meetings and engage in discussions to choose the right asset. However, a REIT cannot move on a hot property that is $1 million of value, because it doesn't make financial sense for a REIT to do that move. It's so small for a REIT. You can do that move with tokenization. The second thing, it does not replace REITs. REITs in the future may own real estate through tokenization. Why would we? The analogy is tokenized real estate does not replace REITs. And the problem it solves isn't the problem REITs are solving. The problem it solves is the problem you have if you want to buy your house today that you're a tenant in. And this is one of the problems. The second problem it solves is if you have a house, you have equity in it, the market is rough, you wouldn't be able probably to get the right funding from the bank, and then you may be able to tokenize a piece of that house and get that liquidity rather than being obliged to sell the whole house at a low. And those are problems that you do have today. So call them two distinct products, tokens and share in a REIT. Those two are two different products with two different characteristics. It's similar to you owning a specific stock in a specific company, call it Apple, Alphabet, or any other, or owning an index. They have advantages and disadvantages. And yes, I do understand that the analogy does not incorporate everything about an index and everything about a company, but it's simple to understand it, or simpler to understand it that way. I hope I answered your question right. If you would like to add anything, Denis.
But the way I understood the question, I think you nailed it.
Okay, so thank you. Regarding the legal framework Blocksquare has adopted, corporate resolutions, are there any jurisdictions where this cannot be applied? And from a legal and regulatory standpoint, is Blocksquare Oceanpoint currently able to operate in the US?
All right, this is a tough question because there's no definite answer to one or the other.
By the way, Denis, wouldn't we be considered operating in the US through one of our partners, yeah?
Yes, indeed. So Blocksquare, as it's set up, it's not directly going to operate a marketplace in the US, probably. Now, question about Oceanpoint. When it becomes big enough for the market in the US to regulate it, then those questions might start or need to be answered. How it's set up, Oceanpoint, to function, it provides the functionality of a fund, of a bank, but it's not structured as such. So, how will regulators look at it? It's hard to say because it's also depending on the time when they start looking at it. If they look at it today, they might block it. But if they look at it in 3 years, then their understanding might not be the one that regulate it in a different way, or they might have tools at hand that regulate it in a different way. So it's hard to answer this direct question, how Oceanpoint would be seen. I know that regulators care about the big things that threaten the economy, and when you're still small, they don't really care about you, except if they want to make an example that also the small ones thereafter. So
we have a partner who operates a marketplace in the US, isn't it?
Yes.
And if Oceanpoint wanted to, or if we wanted to tokenize a property in the US today and lock the value under Oceanpoint, would anyone stop us? I don't believe so, because we're not selling tokens to the retail market. So the answer is, what we're doing today, we can do in the US, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. I mean, what we're doing today, even Oceanpoint can do it today. Like, if you have US real estate, come to us. We'll tokenize it, and you can lock it into Oceanpoint. I'm feeling perfectly safe you doing that. And I don't see any problem, because they're not giving away any economic rights to a sale of tokens, which might be regarded as a sale of securities. And if you haven't registered those securities sailed with the SEC, you might get fined. And because you're not doing a token sale, but you're just using a digital representation of your property to earn some crypto, I think you're safe. So US real estate, you are very, very welcome.
Is there a place where that you think would be challenged today? I don't believe so. Is there a jurisdiction today that would stop people from being able, again, without selling any tokens to retail, would stop people from doing a tokenization of the economic rights behind a property and locking it into a protocol, whatever you want to call it, Oceanpoint or any other?
No, I think like the version 02, the BSPT staking, there's no issue there. You're retaining the economic rights. Let's say with the version 0.4, which is now 0.4, you sell some of your economic rights to Oceanpoint. Now, Oceanpoint, on the other hand, the regulator might say, "Hey, what's this?" Maybe you, as an asset owner, they might ask you, "What is this? Why are you making some payments to another company?" And that company is Blocksquare. So you made a private deal with Blocksquare to give out some economic rights that you hold to another company. I don't think.
Before I continue with the questions, questions on Twitter, there's an interesting dialogue that's happening here on YouTube. We will not probably, because we want to continue with the questions on Twitter and then come back to that. I promise you, we'll only extend the session by 10 minutes. If we still had time within those 10 minutes, I will go back to this dialogue and we'll be part of it live. Okay, so for now, I'll go back to the Twitter questions. And the second question is, are there going to be new events where Blocksquare is attending like Fibri? I believe what is meant in the question is, are there new competitions, for example, that Blocksquare is gonna launch, or are there new initiatives that Blocksquare is gonna launch? Because Blocksquare is a corporate member of Fibri. Fibri is the foundation of international blockchain and real estate expertise, and there's plenty of corporate members and individual members. I'm an individual member in Fibri. Okay, so what's your answer to that, Denis?
Well, I have a role within Fibri, within the board, to kind of help it grow. And the challenge is one of the initiatives that I kind of started last year, and used Blocksquare as as an initial example. But it was a good success. It attracted a lot of teams, and there was a lot of people that learned about what we're doing, and that was the ultimate goal. And if we get some partners out of it, that's perfectly fine as well. Now, I think we'll see more and more initiatives popping up. as we grow and as this becomes relevant to also to other communities, not just Fibri. I believe there's communities that have never heard about real estate tokenization except maybe on a headline somewhere, and they're really into crypto. And why wouldn't we engage with them with a hackathon or something where they can kind of get more understanding of what we're doing. And I think the short answer is yes.
Yes.
Which ones, I have no clue.
There's many being prepared, guys. Engagement initiatives that are being prepared that Blocksquare will be part of, and this is one of them, where we will continue to engage with you and drive value, and we will be engaging more parties who do matter. We've got Simon Owen on an episode, which was great. We've got Daniel Gomez, amazing episode. We have Pekka Kilka, Peppa Blockchain on an episode coming up. We have, we're starting with our members, so wait to see Spotlight. It's a block chat session with members of our team. So who asked about our team, you'll start seeing our team from our advisory board to other members of our team. So there's much happening. We're trying to make sure that we keep it relevant and we don't just spam the world with noise that is irrelevant. Similar to what Denis said, we want everything organic. We don't want non-organic anything, marketing or otherwise. Here, MVG says 12 million already in the pipeline for tokenization. Insane. Actually, those are tokenized already, MVG. So it is insane and growing and growing. So another thing here, will all tokenization taking place in Blocksquare deployer contract? Is there a timeline when we can see the first tokenized properties? Yes, we answered that.
The time is today. The time is today, actually. So after the session, we're going to post a tweet and also on our Discord and Telegram, the link to the marketplace where you can sign up and see the first of the tokenized assets that have been listed on that marketplace.
Today, the time is today. So another question here, do NFTs have a place in the treasury? Actually, we answered this. Thank you for asking it again here or previously here. Will the community receive a deck or something so we can reach out to property owners in our countries too? And this is a question from BRE Tech on Twitter.
Makram,
yep.
What do you think? Should we do it?
We definitely should do it. What are you talking about?
All right. So
yeah. So everyone should be able to join this movement, 100%. And guys, we wanna and Denis can talk here while I pick the second question about the benefit that we want you to get out of doing that, because the whole ecosystem is a value-driven ecosystem with benefit to everyone who's engaged in it. Denis, would you like to tell us more about that?
Yeah, indeed. So I think we mentioned previously sometime that we wanted to create an incentive system for those that bring real estate assets to us. And we have the ability to register your wallet as a certified partner within each tokenized asset. So the owner is the owner of the contract, which is the issuer, while the certified partner party is essentially the person or the organization that brings the asset for tokenization. Now, those assets then might result into a certified partner running their own marketplace. It might result into a certified partner just doing one deal and that's it. There's many things that might happen or how you might evolve that role. But in any case, with each real estate asset you bring, you will be getting 10% of the BST that is accrued over the 6 months of staking. And I think this is a great opportunity for everybody who's involved already to bring value to the BST holdings they already have, because with each million worth of real estate that we tokenize, we're doing a great thing, bringing value to the system, and again, then also capture some of the minted tokens that come into circulation.
I have here another question. Actually, let's go through the dialogue very fast on Twitter, and then we'll go back to that. So it started by How to Crypto said, a community is hard to build around crypto. Very fast moving, and most is just there for profit. Right now, we have nothing any project can build in a few days. Once we can invest in properties. Okay, and then he continues, the community will be much easier to grow. We will have people invested in the long term and become part of the overall community. Organic growth is the best, but we need the platform and projects. Great, you have them today. A tweet will come today with that. Please sign in. Tell us about your experience. How to Crypto, we love your engagement with us. Nero, great hearing from you. Actually, I was writing from you, and I will write it here as we speak. Okay, we love your engagement again. And Nero here replied, yeah, building a community is hard, but I don't think one could copy Blocksquare that easy at all. The tech part, yes, but not the business part. And that's a great, strong business case and not just tech. Nero, 100%, I believe what you've nailed it here. The know-how that is on the table is way beyond the tech, because, yeah, the tech is great. By the way, it's not so easy to, not easy at all. You live hell and back 15 times to be able to build the tech and to be able to put it together and to be able to make sense of it. However, please talk to people and try to understand the whole ethos behind what they're trying to deliver. Any company that is delivering tech today. And I would tell you something that I have lived. Prior to today, I'm the COO of Blocksquare. Prior to that, I was the GCC representative of Blocksquare and part of the community. Prior to that, I was someone who was building tech and failed and wanted to find the right tech partner anywhere in the world in tokenizing real estate. And I've done a research into approximately every partner. And I wouldn't say every partner, because I'm sure there may be somebody who jumps and said, you did not research me. And I saw in one place, and there's many others who are doing great, but I saw in one place clarity of vision and understanding of both sides, the tech side and the real estate side, the human side, the legal side. All of those are very complex, guys, to understand and put together. And this is what's offered here. So Nero, I agree with you 100%. I will not continue with the rest of the dialogue here because we have 2 minutes left. We will answer one fast-forward question and then we'll leave it for Denis to close. We're seeing properties being tokenized on a regular basis now, almost every week. Will there be a marketplace where we can see them? We've answered that, actually. Again, BRE Tech, we have answered that. Denis, what would you like to tell everyone today?
Nothing. Essentially, thank you for being here with us. I mean, I'm seeing more and more people getting engaged. I love it when we started tokenizing and they started seeing it on chain, and there was this discussion that started in the forums, in Telegram, on Discord. It got people excited. And that's exactly what I was expecting. Like, when you're going to see things happening for real, you're going to get more and more excited about and seeing that what we've built has a lot of sense. I just to emphasize, I'm proud of the team. They're doing a great job on the tech side. Makram will be presenting you the whole thing throughout the next months. Through these spotlights, so make sure to watch them. Tell us about what you want to hear from the breadcrumbs. Is there any questions that you want to have answered, whether that's about real estate or crypto or tokenization? Doesn't matter. Just let us know. You can use Discord. to post your questions, or Telegram. Reach out to us. If you have any real estate businesses you want to introduce to us, reach out to us. And last but not least, we want to get in touch with other communities that are led by a native token. We want to work with them. We want to create value with what we bring for them as well, because this way we can cross-promote throughout communities and teach them about what we've built, transfer that knowledge to them so they have an understanding of what we're bringing to them, and take an interest in what we're doing. And I think that this is the best way of building out a solid and sustainable community. So everybody, who's listening, just contribute. I'm sure everybody has one or two connections that are definitely might be valuable for what we're doing.
And sending questions you want me to ask our team members. Yeah, I like to torture them. So send me questions that are difficult to answer. Send me things you would like to know about them, their lives, why Blocksquare, and why would they like to go on that route. Denis, any last thing here? I would tell you guys, everyone in the world, when would you like to experience tokenizing your property when the number or the amount of tokenized property in the world is $500 million? Or is it the right time to tokenize property and try benefiting from the opportunity today? When is that opportunity ripe for you? And when are you ready to venture into that? It gives you no loss. It earns you decently, as well as it allows you to experience a part of what's coming. And it's coming. It doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter if people resist. Evolution has come in the past and is coming today. And all situations and statuses and positions are only transitory. Thank you all. We've been with you on another session of Block Chat with no hiccups. Denis Petrovcic and Makram Hani on the brief. I'm so happy to be with you today.